Today, people wait years and pay tens of thousands of dollars just to carry a bag stamped with two specific interlocking letters. It is an empire worth hundreds of billions of dollars, carrying a name that acts as a universal, globally recognized passport to high society. In the spring of 1835, the founder of that empire was a 13-year-old boy walking alone through the freezing mud of eastern France. He could not read or write. He had no money, no family to fall back on, and slept in the forest. How does an abandoned child surviving on scraps in the wilderness become the man behind the most valuable luxury brand in history? He did it without aristocratic patrons or a formal education. His empire was built on a brutal instinct for survival, an instinct that forced him to carefully observe his environment, figure out exactly how things worked, and solve physical problems that nobody else even noticed. Louis Vuitton left his remote hamlet in the Jura Mountains and decided to walk to Paris. It was a journey of 292 miles on foot. It took him 2 full years. To avoid starving, he took whatever odd jobs he could find along the road, offering his labor to tradesmen and craftsmen in exchange for food or a place to sleep. Without knowing it, he was getting a masterclass in material engineering. By chopping wood, cleaning stables, and assisting blacksmiths, he learned exactly how raw fabrics, metals, and timber behaved under extreme stress and bad weather. He finally arrived in Paris at the age of 16 in 1837. He walked straight into an industrial revolution. The wealthy classes were suddenly moving across Europe faster than any generation before them, powered by an expanding network of steam engines and railways. But this massive boom in travel created a solidified logistical headache. Aristocrats, diplomats, and merchants were packing fine silk dresses and delicate coats, and those fragile items were constantly being crushed or ruined during long, violently rough journeys by train and coach. Louis secured an apprenticeship with a boxmaker and spent over a decade mastering the craft. He became so precise that wealthy clients began requesting him by name. By 1853, his reputation for protecting delicate wardrobes was so high that he was hired as the personal packer for Empress Eugenie, the most powerful woman in France. The child who had spent 2 years surviving the harshest elements of the French wilderness was now responsible for every silk gown in the imperial court. In the eyes of the French elite, if the Empress trusted him with her most valuable possessions, everyone else had to follow suit. He spent years examining the luggage of the era, and he noticed a glaring mechanical flaw. In the 1850s, all trunks had rounded, dome-shaped tops made of heavy leather. The shape existed for exactly one reason: to let rainwater run off. That dome top created a spatial nightmare. You cannot stack rounded objects. On a train, they were loaded individually, wasting space. In 1858, Louis engineered a perfectly flat, rectangular trunk. Suddenly, 6 trunks stacked in the footprint that held 2. To fix the rain problem without relying on a curved top, he stripped away the heavy leather and replaced it with a waterproof, lightweight gray material he called Trianon canvas. It was durable and resistant to the elements. By combining material science with simple spatial logic, he solved the greatest inconvenience of 19th century travel. This single design decision effectively created the template for modern luggage as we know it today. Over the next decade, his operation grew into a 50,000 square foot workshop. And then the Franco-Prussian War hit in 1870. The siege of Paris reduced his factory to ruins. His tools were stolen and his materials were gone. At 50 years old, Louis was once again starting with nothing. He refused to retreat. Real estate in the heart of Paris was cheap after the war, so he bought a prominent storefront right next to the city's most aristocratic destination, the Jockey Club. He stopped focusing solely on French locals. He began aggressively courting foreign wealth, even printing his advertising handbills in English to attract diplomats and royalty from overseas. By 1892, he launched a comprehensive printed catalog. For the first time, international customers could browse the full range of his designs and place orders from London or Egypt without ever traveling to Paris. The destruction of his factory did not break his business. It forced him to expand his reach, transforming a local Parisian craftsman into a supplier for the global elite. But the success of the flat trunk attracted parasites. Rival luggage makers blatantly copied his canvas designs, producing cheap imitations to undercut his prices. Louis and his son Georges fought back through engineering. They introduced complex checkerboard patterns and invented a tumbler lock mechanism so secure they publicly challenged the legendary escape artist Harry Houdini to break out of one. Houdini reportedly could not. In 1896, Georges Vuitton decided to solve the counterfeiting problem with a new design. He created an intricate pattern featuring floral motifs and his father's interlocking initials. It was designed purely as a functional security measure, but the elegance of the pattern created an accidental side effect. The wealthy elite began buying the trunks specifically to display the print. The initials became a visual shorthand, communicating a specific level of status to anyone who saw it. That monogram, born from a practical need to stop copycats, is essentially identical to the one seen on storefronts in 50 countries today. It has survived unchanged for over 130 years. A child born into a home without running water, who lost his family, his money, and eventually his entire factory, built a symbol that outlasted the French Empire itself. He observed the world, mastered his materials, and proved that the dirt you start in does not dictate the height of what you are capable of building.